The Seattle Seahawks are setting themselves up and Geno Smith for another year of shocking people in the NFL. It's safe to say that last year was a shock. I mean, everyone thought the Seahawks were going to be in rebuilding mode, pretty much thinking that we are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think even Vegas had our over-under as one of the top 5 worst teams or bottom 5 worst teams in the entire NFL record-wise. And somehow we prevailed. Geno Smith came in and was a very high-quality quarterback. Our 2022 draft class just went insanely well. I mean, the amount of talent we picked up with guys like Charles Cross and guys like Tariq Woolen and Kenneth Walker and Abraham Lucas and many more. The list just continued. We really found a way to set ourselves up for future of very high quality football. And it even helped more that the trade that we did, trading Russell Wilson to the Broncos, brought us back the 5th pick in the draft. Now, we knew it was going to be, I think it was the 9th pick in the draft where we got Charles Cross from the Broncos, but not many people believed that that first-round pick from the Broncos was going to be that high. The Broncos were a bottom 5 team in the NFL while the Seahawks made the playoffs, got better, and now picked up a 5th pick in the draft to get a guy like Devin Witherspoon. We picked up Jackson Smith and Jigba. We got a center and Olusegun Oluwatumi. We had a few defensive pickups like guys like Derek Hall and Mike Morris. And overall, this draft class was just done the right way. If you look at PFF's rankings, they had the Seahawks 2022 class at an A- and the 2023 class at an A. This is one of the better draft class you've had in the NFL and one of the better ones the Seahawks are ever going to have. There are only good things happening in Seattle. This is going to be one of my classic rants because I'm just excited that the Seahawks are going to find a way to shock the NFL again. And they really are able to potentially go the next step and go the next level. And that's what's so exciting about this. If you love Seattle sports, the only plug I'm going to do is go down to my description, or if you're on TikTok anywhere, on my YouTube, on anywhere, check out Son Seattle, SONT Seattle, on Twitter, and myself, Sammy on Tap, SAMI on Tap on Twitter. And there's always going to be different Seattle sports giveaways and talking about Seattle sports, any of them that you love. So check that out, please. Now, after everything that happened, there's almost no doubt the Seahawks are only going to be better next year. Now, the only concern I could really say to start is what if Geno Smith's not as good? But I don't know if Geno Smith is going to be any better than he was last year. That might have been the ceiling of Geno Smith. But you never know what confidence does to a man. He might be able to go next level with the confidence that he got from last season. Or let's say he is a little less good, just a little bit. We have receivers DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and now Jackson Smith and Jigba. We have a new center coming in. We have an offensive line that's only getting more mature, a little older, and obviously going to get better. You're not going to get worse on the offensive line with the experience the guys gained last year, including a playoff game last year. It's only going to get better. We have Kenneth Walker at the running back position. And on top of that, I mean, as long as Geno Smith is pretty decent next year, we're at least average or getting average in the league, and then a quarterback that's average, all of it's going to be fine. If that run game's well with good receivers with a decent O-line, it's all going to be okay. As long as Geno Smith is not reduced to what he was 5, 6, 7 years ago, but I don't believe in that happening. The Seahawks knew what they were doing by starting Geno Smith over Drew Lock. They knew what they're doing by giving him a contract because they see it day in and day out and they know it's not a fluke. The Seahawks are a smart organization. They shipped out Russell Wilson, their Super Bowl winning franchise quarterback, knowing that Geno Smith might be their quarterback. And they ended up with a better season. Geno Smith ended up with a better season than Russell Wilson. They are smart. They know what they're doing. And then on the defensive end, which anyways is supposed to be Pete Carroll's bread and butter, this team is only getting better. They're obviously picking up talent on the defensive line. They obviously brought back Bobby Wagner as Jordan Brooks is recovering from an injury. They didn't pick up Jordan Brooks' 5th-year option, which either means they are worried about the injury or they think they can get him cheaper than the 5th-year option after next year. But Bobby Wagner's back to build this defense. And then, of course, you had Tariq Woolen, one of the best corners in the game as a rookie. You picked up Devin Witherspoon, who Pete Carroll says is the best prospect at corner he's seen since he's been in the NFL, which is a huge thing to say considering This man's been in the NFL with guys like Richard Sherman in the NFL, with guys like Darrelle Revis that are in the NFL, with guys like Jalen Ramsey in the NFL. He's seen a lot of talent in the NFL, including on his own team, and he said this is the best corner prospect he's seen since being in the NFL. And this guy knows a lot. I mean, 2-time national championship in college, a Super Bowl winning coach. He's seen talent. Like that's for sure. You can't argue. He's seen a lot of talent in his life. This is a big deal. Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, Michael Jackson has a role on this team. Trey Brown has a role on this team. Kobe Bryant has a role on this team. That's just our corners. And then you can go to the safety position and look at Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Ryan Neal. There is an insane amount of talent on this defense. Now, the biggest concern, we lost a guy like Shelby Harris and Poona Ford and Al Woods. The biggest concern is going to be the defensive line. But one thing, even though those guys sound like great names and they were players that I like on the Seattle Seahawks, we still, with those names, had a bad defensive line, right? So I kind of like what the Seahawks are doing. They're starting over fresh on the defensive line. They are going to pick up young pieces. They're going through the draft. And they even ended up making a trade for Draymond Jones from the Denver Broncos. Again, another Broncos trade. And he wants to, he says that he's feeling eager to put people on notice about how good he can really be. They're trying to rebuild this defensive line. They're going through trade like a Draymond Jones. They're going through the draft where, they're picking up guys like Mike Morris and Derek Hall, and they're going to continue to probably make some extra moves, maybe make another trade here in the offseason for all we know. This team is trying to make splashes in the draft, in free agency, trades, everything, because they're looking to shock the NFL again, and I would not be surprised if the Seahawks team has a chance. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they will, but they have a chance to be one of the best teams in the NFC and maybe come out of the NFC. It's not that crazy. The 49ers are very good in the division. There's some other teams that are decent quality, but with Aaron Rodgers leaving the NFC, there are not many quarterbacks better than Geno Smith in the NFC, which is crazy to say. And there's not many teams better than the Seahawks. They have a shot, and I couldn't be more excited to see where this is going. So look out, NFL. They're going to shock you again. Here come the Seahawks. Peace.